What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Good Game Reviews. This ain't gonna take too long. Um, this is another. Ooh, move the camera. Let me get that right real quick. It's whatever. We'll worry about it later on. Yep. Well, this is week 13. Patriots at Texans. Final score 22-28. Patriots lose, unfortunately, in this game. Um, Not for a lack of trying, at least like later on in the last part of the game. Um, let's just go ahead and start with the good. Not a lot to pull from, but um, yeah, not a lot to pull from. Um, Tom Brady, he had a pretty slow game. Let's just be honest about it. It was a pretty mediocre game. If you look at the stats, they kind of give you kind of like a false narrative of how the game actually went. You look at the final score, it kind of gives you a false narrative of how the game actually went. If you really want the true like summary of this game, it was pretty much Texans dominating the Patriots for 3.5 quarters straight. The Patriots managed to climb back into the game with a few late scores, mainly because the Texans just fell asleep. You know, they had the victory assured. They were up by 2 touchdowns. There was, 3 minutes left in the game, or just a little bit left in the fourth quarter, and no possible way the Patriots could have, you know, come back or made some kind of a move. Um, you saw the Texans getting a little sleepy on a lot of plays later in that game because they just had they came with the intensity in the beginning, but during like the later half of the game, it kind of dropped, and it just allowed the Patriots to put up some scores. So Tom Brady, he went 24 for 47, had 326 yards, 3 touchdowns, one pick. Um, yeah, pretty much. And if you, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way. The last play of the game, the onside kick, if not for Brandon Bolden, you know, all he had to do really, it bounced right in front of him. Really, all he had to do, step back a little bit, ball hits the ground, goes after it, scoops it up. Instead, the ball's in the air, he bats at it, hits it to the ground, and ends up going out of bounds. He misses his opportunity. Um, and really, like in front of him was nothing but green. Like I don't know what the Texans were doing on that kick, but in front of him was nothing but green, and the ball just went completely past him. He could have easily, scooped that up and ran it in for the late score, and it would have been a sight to see. But that's not how it played out. The ball goes out of bounds. Texas get the ball back. They kneel down. End the game. Um, so we have some rushing numbers to get into. James White was the leading ball carrier for tonight. Had 14 carries, 79 yards, and averaged 5.6 on the ground. I think that comes more with what I was saying earlier, the Texans getting a little lax at the end of the game and allowing him to pretty much just run through their defense because there was like, we're just going to let them waste time and not realizing that they're making a march down the field. So, I mean, hey, crazy. Also, as far as receiving numbers, we have Julian Edelman once again leading the team. Just in terms of his productivity, he had 6 receptions, 106 yards, had average 17.7, and he had the 1 touchdown late in the game, which pretty much brought it kind of close to where it was like, this could actually turn into something if the Texans aren't careful. James White, he was pretty much the lead in terms of receptions. He had 8 receptions, 98 yards, average 12.2, and he had 2 touchdowns. So he was pretty much the main scorer in that game. As far as the defense, really only 3 guys to really give any credit to: Hightower, Van Noy, and Winovich. Each of them had a sack. In a game where not a lot of defense was going on, uh, I'll go ahead and give them that. But other than that, not really a lot to speak about. Kicking, Forbath. As far as Kai Forbath goes, he did all right. He missed one extra point, so he was 2 for 3 on the extra points. He only had to make one field goal that game. He made the field goal. So overall, I mean, he was all right. And seeing that, being that he's a new kicker and he's really been bouncing around a lot, and he now finds himself with the Patriots like really few days before, you know, they're even supposed to play the Texans, because coming into this, we thinking Nick Folk was going to be the kicker, and you get some news, and turns out he has to go through surgery because he messed up something. So in comes Forbath. But overall, he was all right. He was just all right. As far as punting goes, Jake Bailey, he did his usual Jake Bailey thing. He had 4 punts. He had 175 yards, averaged 43.8, had 2 downs in the 20, and for the most part, he did really all he could do as far as trying to get them some really good field position. The Patriots just could not stop anything. They would stop them. I mean, they'll pin them back behind the 10, or they'll pin them back behind the 15. Well, I think it was mostly behind the 15. It was like one was at the 12, one was at the 11, but they was giving them good field position, and the Patriots defense just couldn't do anything with it. It was just, I mean, just a waste of effort on Jake Bailey's part once again. And Jake Bailey also the one who kicked the onside kick, the second one. He had 2. One, he kind of like moved around the field. It kind of did like a little bit of bouncing. Just slid around. Wasn't successful. But the second one, he kicks it. It takes a few bounces high up in the air. Patriots have a chance at it. So, he made as many plays as he could, and the Patriots just couldn't, really help him out on that side. As far as, bad goes, I could pretty much round this up into like a few things, which is really, one, couldn't stop anything, couldn't stop the run, couldn't stop the pass, was just completely awful in all phases of the game. In terms of defense, and 2, well, offense also, disregarding the, last minute stuff, but just everything overall was just, it was just bad. It was just terrible. 2, penalties. Penalties. I saw so many yellow flags hitting that field. I swear I thought I was imagining it, but no. Just penalties after penalties, holdings, pass interference, just completely awful. And one thing I want to get back to as far as like this defense went, you're supposed to be one of the best defenses in the league right now. You think you would know? You think you would know that putting a linebacker one-on-one with a pass-catching running back, knowing that you have a pass-catching running back, you would know that's kind of a mismatch. I just didn't really understand that. And, maybe I need some help figuring that out, but that's just something I wouldn't do. The zero coverage also, this isn't the quarterback to try that on. These aren't the receivers to try that on. No, it was like it just seemed like anytime they tried zero coverage, it was just the Patriots getting burnt each and every time. Those players are way too fast, way too good at running routes. That quarterback is way too dynamic to try some zero blitzes. Please, it looked awful. It really did. The play calling, oh, atrocious. It's just, I mean, everything just seems so predictable. Everything just seems so. I'm sitting there. I am in no way whatsoever in the, you know, as far as like football intelligence, no way near what those coaches are. Not even a little bit. And I was pretty much able to predict 90% of what the Patriots were doing on offense. It's just terrible. Uh, Overall, Texans. All I can really say about the Texans is they came to play. They were the better team tonight. Um, they had the better game plan, even with the trickery. We didn't have a lot of trickery, and I find that weird. Usually, when the Patriots are down, they like to pull some things out of the hat, but you didn't really see any of those like trick plays that they like to pull. Texans, they pull one. They don't even really need to. They have a substantial lead, but they're like, oh, we're going to try to put the nail in the coffin here. And they had, this toss to DeAndre Hopkins, and then DeAndre Hopkins does a forward pass to Deshaun Watson, and he gets it into the end zone, and it's, pretty much, you're thinking, oh, well, there's that. And as close as this game came to, I mean, we really could have seen something, happen late in that game. But like I said, what happened. Final score 22-28. Texans win. Next week is week 14. You will have the Patriots going against the Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm going to say it right now. If the Patriots are having a hard time stopping a Bill O'Brien offense, if the Patriots are having a hard time scoring on this Texans defense that, shown in recent weeks has given up lots of points. Lots of yards. If the Patriots are having trouble against them and getting off to a good start early, I really do fear for what is in store for them once they are in Arrowhead going up against that Chiefs offense, which is loaded with talented players, faster players than the Texans have, more dynamic players than the Texans have. It's going to be something to see. It really is, and I'm not looking too forward to it, but you got to ride with your team and you got to hope for the best. But it is really concerning because this is it. This is the only offense that the Patriots really have. I mean, people were waiting for these pieces to come back. They were waiting for N'Keal Harry to come back. They were waiting for Isaiah Wynn to come back. In my opinion, Isaiah Wynn has made more of an impact in his return than N'Keal Harry has. I mean, that's pretty obvious to me. But even so, it isn't enough. You have everything. Like I remember saying this before the game started. I looked at the inactive list. I saw the players who were inactive. And I'm like, okay, pretty much the Patriots pretty much have their starters out there. I mean, even Lacoste, who, was, not present in a lot of these games, who was out because of injury, who just couldn't stay healthy for some reason, he's out there. Your pass catching tight end. You got Ben Watson out there. You got N'Keal Harry back finally. You have Philip Dorsett out there who's healthy. You have Mohamed Sanu, who you were missing last week. You have Julian Edelman out there. You have you even have Jacoby Myers out there. You got Sony Michel. You got James White. You got Rex Burkhead. You got all of these things, but still, it wasn't. It just wasn't enough. You came short. You came short once again. Another thing I wanted to point out before I ended this, Ted Karras the starting center for this season, at least. He went out the game with an injury. He was injured. He was injured first. Went to the tent, came back out, ended up getting injured again. He bent his knee like a weird way, trying to push the pile to make some room for a run play, and he was pretty much done after that. After that second time getting hurt, he was pretty much out for the rest of the game. So yeah. So right now, Ferentz is the acting center. As of now, we don't know how bad this Ted Karras injury is, but as for now, Ferentz he's the guy. So another blow. Not what you want coming off of a loss like this. Certainly not the place that you want it to happen. I mean, you don't want it to happen anywhere, but you definitely don't want it to happen to your starting center. So, especially since he had been doing a really good job. He's actually done better than a lot of the guys that I thought would be better than him this season. So, very disappointing. But that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. Not much to say, not much to really go over. I think I covered it all. You already know about the next week's matchup, Patriots Chiefs. That won't be a Sunday night game. That'll be around the lines of 3:25, I think. So yeah. Also, apologies, I didn't get to do a prediction for this game. But I had it written down anyway. You probably would be laughing at it right now. So, kind of a blessing in disguise that I didn't get to put it out. But yeah, that's about it. Like, comment, subscribe. Always look out for more content. I'm gonna try to get into some more stuff besides the reviews and the predictions. Try to expand a little bit. Maybe even go back to doing a couple more reactions. If that's what you want to see, put it in the comment section. Always put something in the comment section because I'm gonna read it. Anyway. I always like to hear feedback. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm out.